Welcome back, everybody. It's the Jackson and Shabazz show. We're back for episode 7, I believe. I might be one off. I'm a little confused with me missing last week's episode. I don't know what happened. Apparently, I got replaced, and he did a better job than I do.
Man, the fans, they wanted me, and they could not resist just having me.
Yeah, so at least you guys that did watch, thank you for continuing to watch, even though I wasn't there. Abdullah did a great job taking the reins and leading the ship in the right direction, and a big thank you to my stepfather, Ken Walther, for filling in for us. I know he was uncomfortable doing that, but he did his best, and by the end of the episode was really able to come into his own, and ended up being really good and really funny. And I'm glad.
I'm not gonna lie. As I was interviewing Kenny, I just kind of thought he was gonna break down and like have a nervous breakdown, like I appreciate you for holding it together, Kenny.
No, it ended up. I loved the episode. Obviously, I watched it because I watch every episode a bunch, just so we can break it down and learn from mistakes and things like that. And I really enjoyed it. Kenny did a great job, and you did a really great job running the whole thing. So kudos to you, man.
Thanks,
so.
Bro.
As we always start the show, some funny stories. Well, first, I did miss last week's episode because I'm back in New York.
Hey.
So I'm very happy about that. Finally get to be back in New York. I was gone from New York about a year. We moved down there for some jobs, to Kentucky for some jobs, and then we moved back here.
Hey, so to start wait. Since you're back in New York, don't ever say this again. But since you're back in New York, can I get a year?
Yeah.
All right, one for the ages. Let's go.
So to start with a funny story, as I've said in the show in the past, I do work in pest control, and today was one of the most interesting days of my life on the job. So I'm not going to say where this place was. There will be no names or anything, but let's just say I'm learning. I'm training right now because I just transferred into a new position. And we went and did some things at a motel, and the motel is not in the nicest of places.
What? You know how weird that sounds?
Yeah, I know. Well, we did some pest control in a motel. I say that, so I'm not saying we did some things in a motel. But it's not in the nicest area, let me put it that way. And there was a lot of nefarious and bad things going on in this place.
Nefarious.
And there was a lot of bad things going on in this motel. Let me just say it didn't have a 5-star rating on Yelp, okay? All right. And so I'm treating in some of these rooms, just doing inspections, really, making sure things are all right. And the owner of the motel knocks on the door.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, the owner of the motel knocks on the door for one of the rooms, and the guy answers, and he said, "Hey, pest control guy's here. You just got to let him in the room for a couple minutes." Guy goes, "Yeah, no problem at all." And he's acting all kinds of weird. And so he lets me in the room, and I'm doing some stuff, and I notice, you know what? Again, not the greatest motel. And I noticed, okay, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in here. And guess what he had in the motel on the bed? You will never guess. I could give you 3 million guesses. You would never guess.
It's an inanimate object, right?
I mean, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, it didn't talk to me, if that's what you're saying.
He had a bullfrog.
No. I mean, yeah, I'm telling you, you could guess 3 million times and you'd never guess this. So again, super sketchy place. I walk in, I'm checking things out. And all of a sudden I notice what's on the bed. Well, I say nothing about it, and I am not going to tell you until I get to that point in the story, so I say nothing about it. I just keep it pushing, keep it moving, whatever. But it's really starting to creep me out, and it's starting to get to me, so I start looking at it. And the guy finally starts to bring it up. He says, well, basically what was on the bed was deli meat. But it was out of the packages, so it was individual slices of deli meat like ham, salami, cheese, all spread out in the bed in this motel. On the bed. And I'm not talking like in the packages, bro. I'm talking like individual slices filling out the entire bed. Okay?
All right.
And so I'm like, all right, whatever, just gonna. He goes to me and says, "Oh, where are my manners?" And I was like, "Oh God, here we go." He's like, "Where are my manners? Are you hungry? You want me to fix you something to eat? I got enough meat here to make you an Italian mix." And I was like, I can't make this up, bro. I was like, I had to have the most rude look on my
What?
face. I was like, I just ate, man. Thanks. I'm good.
Wow.
He was telling me this story about how he was a retired cop and he just got back from Vegas and lost all his money in Vegas, and that's why he
Of
was in the motel.
course. Of
Yeah,
course.
believable
He,
story.
he he had just enough for a plane ticket and some fucking sandwich meat. I get it. I
But I'm
get it.
telling you, so like go to Walmart or go to ShopRite or something like that. And go to the deli and you get a pound of salami, a pound of ham, and a pound of cheese, right? And you take all of that out of the plastic that they give it in and take it off the wax paper they've got it on and individually lay it out on your bed before you make a sandwich, because that's what this guy was doing. What do you think I was gonna be like? Yes, I'll have your sandwich. Matter of fact, you have any fucking spicy mustard?
You got any sweet peppers underneath your
Oh,
pillow
yeah,
anywhere?
right. Yeah, can you toast the bread in your fucking toaster oven? Oh man.
Hey, you know what? So originally I did not have a story, man, but I have one now. Now that you talk about deli meat, which is ridiculous. So today, actually, I also work in pest control. So yeah, we had a job way in the land we're not gonna talk about, and yeah, so we're at the sandwich shop. Really good sandwich meat, son. Really good sandwiches. So I had double roast beef for anybody that cares, because I like sandwiches. Anyway, so there's this guy in front of us, right? And he orders like a 18-inch sub or whatever and a drink. He gets the drink first. He sits down at the table. Well, he's attempting to sit down at the table. So he's got the drink in his hand and he spills it all over the table, right?
Oh my
So
gosh.
obviously it's an accident. He's really empathetic about it too. I'm sorry, I'll clean it up. They're like, no problem. He was like, is it okay if I get another cup? And they're like, of course. And he's like, yeah, I'll sit at that table. I don't want to dirty up another one. And she's like, no, that's fine. He had fruit punch the first time. He goes and gets a Diet Coke, right? And he spills it on the second table. So and this all happened today, right? So you're thinking, all right, he's like super duper clumsy. What's going on with him? So he's like, oh no, you know what? I'm gonna clean this one. And she's like, I already got the mop out. It's fine. How about perhaps I get you the glass or the drink this time. And he took that super duper offensively. He's like, I think I'm confident enough. I think I can do this. And I'm just sitting there eating my sandwich like, well, clearly you can't.
Yeah, clearly
So
not.
he goes and the lady, the manager comes out. He's like, oh, it's no problem, sir. Like, let me help you with that. He goes and gets him the drink or whatever. And then the manager spills it. I'm like, what is going on, bro?
No way.
I thought it was like, swear, bro, I thought it was like the most comical thing ever, because when the manager spilled it, there was no excuses. He was like, yeah, I'm a dumbass. I'm sorry, man. How about we just give you a bottle of water and we don't open the cap?
It's like a fucking skit where a person slips on a banana peel the same like 4 times in a row, and they know it's there, and the banana peel just never moves, and they just keep slipping on it.
Literally, bro. Unfortunate.
Oh man. All right, let's get into some sports, man. Ports. What am I trying to say here? All right, so you got it packing Newports. So over the weekend, first NFL start for New York Giants quarterback Daniel Jones. So he had a breakout come from behind win. They were actually behind really early in this game. Jameis Winston and Mike Evans, they played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jameis Winston and Mike Evans were really in sync. Mike Evans had 3 touchdowns in the first half, okay? They were down. Yeah, they were down early in this game, but Daniel Jones, what in the fuck? Daniel Jones was no scrub in this game. He ran for 2 touchdowns and threw for 2 touchdowns. What are you trying to say, mister? Your food is more important than fucking words right now.
353 yards, baby.
Yeah, and that's great for a debut, especially, he got taken 6th overall, so he was a high draft pick. But a lot of people did not agree with that high draft pick. A lot of people talk shit. I was one included. I thought it was funny. And he's making everybody eat their words. A lot of ESPN analysts, a lot of experts on the subject were really mocking that pick. And, well, through one game, he looked pretty incredible. Do you want to hear one stat, though, that I heard about that game blew my mind? I actually heard it today, almost, a full week after the fact. So, at one point in the game, the Giants were trailing by 18 points. And if
Yeah.
you didn't watch the game, very last minute of the game, the Giants actually won that game. Daniel Jones ran it in for another touchdown for a second touchdown, running touchdown of the game, and then the Bucks had about a minute and a half to go down the length of the field and just score. That all they needed was a field goal to win the game. They missed the field goal, game over. But an
Ooh.
amazing stat, which I'm going to blow your mind with right now. Now, Eli Manning is a lot of things, and Eli Manning is a lot of things that can be made fun of. But one thing you can't take away from Eli Manning is the fact that he's got 2 Super Bowl rings and the
Yeah.
fact that he was the leader of that football team for a really long time.
Yep.
But this stat is really funny, and it kind of really puts an end to his Hall of Fame career when you just isolate this stat. Okay, so by trailing 18 at any point in a game, by trailing by 18 at any point of the game, and I
Yep.
believe this stat is correct, I'm doing it off the top of my head, Daniel Jones and the New York Giants, with Daniel Jones as the quarterback, is 1-0 of a record of trailing by 18 points in a game and winning. Obviously, he's only got played in one game, and they won that game. What do you think Eli Manning's record is of trailing by 18 points at any point in a game in his career? What do you think his record is?
Well, first and foremost, let me just correct you, Mr. Jackson. First of all, Eli Manning is a future Hall of Famer.
I agree. I agree.
So this doesn't diminish anything he's done. Secondly, honestly, I guess I'll go with 0-12. I don't know. It's been in a long time.
Well, 0-12 is almost on the right track, except he's 0-44 career.
Okay.
By trailing by 18 at any point of the game, he's lost every single time, 44 times.
Well, one thing you take into account is look who they played. Now I'm saying they were down. I'm not taking away from Daniel Jones. I'm just saying look who they played. You know, they didn't do it against a team that's relevant. They did it against a fucking a high school team, basically.
Well, I'll tell you this. I know you've been saying early on that Jameis Winston and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. But Jameis Winston has actually been playing really well this season. I'm trying to pull up the stats as it is right here, right now. But my phone is deciding not to work. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers... forget it. Jameis Winston's actually played really well in that game. Like I said, the Bucs did enough to win that game. Their defense just fell apart in the end. But Jameis Winston has actually been playing really well this year. I've been keeping a close eye on him in fantasy. The Bucs are not as bad as you expected them to be, or as others expected them to be. And I'm it's making me die that you're eating during this. So,
would you like to know what I'm eating?
Chicken Parmesan.
Salmon.
Salmon.
Very, very good.
Yeah, that sounds delicious. I had buffalo chicken pizza, and if you had came here tonight so we could have done the show in person, you could have had some too.
First of all, don't call me out like that on my show, okay? Secondly, save me a slice, homie. What you doing?
It's in the fridge now. It's in the fridge. So next time, if you hear a week from now and you still really want it, I'll save you a slice.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Sure.
All right, so I want to have a little bit of a debate now about Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. They played over this weekend as well. I wanted to get your take on who you think played better in that game. Obviously, the Chiefs took the win, but there are a lot of positives to take on both of those guys. And truly, they've been the most outstanding, I think personally, the most outstanding quarterbacks so far this season. I mean, Patrick Mahomes been playing incredible as all expected. Actually, I just learned today, I went past it on Twitter, that Mahomes finally got into the Madden 99 overall club. He didn't start the year there. I believe he started as a 97 rating in Madden, and they moved him up to a 99 because of how well he's been playing. But Lamar Jackson has been playing fantastic as well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know he moved into the 99 club. Well deserved, I think. Recently 3 touchdowns versus Baltimore. Fantastic play. 374 yards. Really, the stats speak for themselves, man. Yeah. I mean, obviously the Chiefs, I feel, are a much better team than them, so I had them winning that week anyway. But same for Lamar Jackson. You said it right. You said it right in the beginning of the season, man. Mahomes kind of set the bar so high last year. The only way that he can go is down, but
Mhm.
he's not looking like he's ready to go down so
Yeah,
far. So
I mean, he's really incredible. I will say this: both are incredibly athletic quarterbacks. They really are the
absolutely.
definition of the new wave of quarterbacks. I mean, if you think about it, even Daniel Jones. I mean, Daniel Jones, does he look like somebody that's going to be rushing for touchdowns? He rushed for 2 touchdowns
Nah.
this week.
He's
Josh
a big
Allen,
dude though. He's a
right?
big dude.
And Josh Allen on the Bills, he doesn't look like he should be running anywhere, and he like led the league in rushing for quarterbacks last year. Like he's really, I mean, it's really incredible. But Mahomes and Lamar Jackson are the definition of like the new age quarterback and the prototypical quarterback for all these young guys coming in. They're
Yeah.
really agile, they're really athletic, they have cannons for arms, and they're
Mm-hmm.
also incredibly fast. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, when I see Lamar Jackson run, I see him as just a few notches slower than Michael Vick, but way bigger. So who knows what the ceiling could be for him? I'm not saying he's Michael Vick. Michael Vick's one of a kind. But I mean, Lamar Jackson out there, when you see him, he's physically bigger and stronger than everybody else, and he's also a
Mm-hmm.
lot faster than everybody else. There was a play in the game where he took the ball from the shotgun, they hiked it to him, and the pocket instantly collapsed. He runs backwards about 5 yards, makes a guy miss. Runs forward about 5 yards, stops on a dime. The lineman who was just about to sack him falls on his face right in front of him. Then
Yep.
runs all the way around to the right side and somehow gets an 8 yard gain off of a play that he should have got sacked for a 5 yard loss. I mean,
Yep.
it's incredible. It is so much fun to watch. That was such a fun game this weekend. It was a high scoring game. It was truly entertaining. And it really came down to the end. Lamar Jackson even had a chance at the end to put on a game-winning drive, but they just ran out of time with no timeouts.
Yep. And in an instance like that, I was middle linebacker when I played. In an instance like that, that's where you go back after you miss the tackles and stuff, and your coach is reaming you out, saying you need to break down, chop your feet. Because everybody out there, when you see a quarterback, when I would get a sack on the quarterback, excuse me, my eyes would light up.
You got some
And I
salmon
would
down the wrong pipe.
that sriracha sauce is something crazy. That's something crazy. If you've never had it on salmon, try. But yeah, exactly, man. He's fast, and there's a difference between fast and quick. And for him, I think he's fast, able to agile, like you said, get
Yeah.
out the pocket and make a broken play into a good game,
Yeah,
So
if
good.
you didn't see that highlight, I'll send it to you after the show. I mean, I'm telling you, it's one of the funniest. After he runs back, he runs forward, like right back into the lineman, and one of the defensive linemen going after him really thinks he's got him, and he starts to lunge at him, and Lamar Jackson stops on a dime, even puts his hands up like this, and kind of does a little step back. The guy falls flat on his face, and then he's able to run around the right side of the line and get an 8 yard gain off of something that, like, if Eli Manning was the quarterback, would have got a 15-yard loss on the play. So it's really
Eli Manning would have literally he would have watched the lineman sweat running after him and dropped to the ground. He would not have even attempted.
but again, super super exciting just to think that we may have 10 or 15 years like we've had with the last group of quarterbacks, that we may
Yeah,
have 10 or 15 years of these guys out there. Because if you think about the quarterbacks that we're now seeing starting to drop off and fall off, except
yeah,
for Tom Brady, there's Tom Brady, there's Ben Roethlisberger, there was Eli Manning, there's Drew Brees. Those guys, are really more pocket passers. They sit there and they wait and they throw. Obviously,
yeah.
there's a little bit of mobility. Back in his day, Big Ben could move a little bit. Drew Brees moves a little bit. But I mean, these new quarterbacks, they could play tight end and run a route. That's how fast they are. It's really
Mhm.
incredible.
And you know what? And that sort of wave actually, it kind of you can kind of say that Kaepernick or RG3 were kind of on, especially RG3 before the
Sure,
injury. You
absolutely.
remember the dude ran a 4.2.
Oh,
The dude,
absolutely.
the dude was the fastest guy on the field, but injury happened. Even Kaepernick, man. I remember I forget what team they're playing, but there's that huge highlight, like the biggest highlight of his life, other than him and his fiasco. The biggest highlight of him on the field in the game was he ran like a 72-yard touchdown. And yeah, it looked like a freaking racehorse out there. But like you
Yeah.
said, yeah, I think more so it's the mobility of the quarterbacks nowadays, but also the IQ behind what they
Mhm.
want to do. Because
Right.
RG3 is prime example of, hey, just because I run a 4.2 doesn't mean I can run out the pocket every time the play is
Yeah.
broken.
Yeah.
You know?
See, here's the unfortunate thing, and RG3 is a perfect example. It could go, and I'm just talking about careers here, nothing personal life. It can go one of two ways, right? You could either be Michael Vick and stay relatively healthy and have a decently long career. Obviously, he took a couple years off in the big house, and stay relatively healthy and have a long career like that, or you could have an RG3 scenario where the quarterback's running and normally the quarterback's not supposed to be running, and a guy hits him and he gets hit hard and then they get injured and then it's a reoccurring injury. And now RG3 is a second or third string quarterback in Baltimore, of all places, behind Lamar Jackson. And that's the risk that they take, where that's why Eli Manning and Tom Brady and all these guys have actually been able to have such long careers, is they normally drop to the ground when they see a lineman coming for them. These guys start stiff arming and start running down the field trying to make a play for themselves. And one of these times they're going to get blindsided and they're going to get their bell rung.
You ever notice that Cam Newton has slowed that shit down too?
Of course. Well, he has to, because he's had almost, well, it's probably not 10 years yet, is it? But he's had probably close to 10 years of this, of getting hit by NFL linebackers, because there was that one season where they went to the Super Bowl where he was dancing in every end zone because he could run that far. You don't see him doing that now. You certainly don't see him doing it that season, because now he's injured. And this is just going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening. That's what it is.
It's an ego check for a lot of guys. They had even in the Panthers, they had a play. They have plays for Cam Newton where it's just boom and you run the ball as soon as you hike it to him. Coaches, if you want to save your players, cut that shit out.
Yeah.
Put that shit to a minimum. I don't care how fast they are. Let them throw the ball.
Unless you're in college. If you're a college coach, obviously college is a lot different. The defenders are not as big or strong as fast. But once you get to the pros, you really got to limit those quarterback runs. Exactly. Moving on. This next part of the show sheet is very vague, but I figured we'd both know what to talk about. The next three things on the list are the Miami Dolphins are terrible, the Jets are terrible, and the Steelers are terrible. Three really bad teams right now. Obviously, I'm upset at the Jets for many reasons, and I'll get into that. But the Miami Dolphins are losing on purpose. They truly are losing on purpose.
It seems like it.
They are losing on purpose, and it's obvious. They traded away all these players that were semi-decent, that were halfway good, and they got picks for them. They're obviously tanking. They're obviously in a rebuild. And is that smart? Sure, because they weren't going to win anything this year with the team that they had. But also, here's my take on specifically the Miami Dolphins. I think there is actually moral and ethical dilemma with what they're doing right now. Forget the whole tanking is bad for the league thing, which I still agree with. But they are actually putting the players they're putting out on the field in harm's way. Because think about this. If you're putting basically semi-pro players out there at this point, they belong in the CFL realistically, right? If you're putting them out there against the top defensive players in the league or the top offensive players in the league, these guys are going to get hurt. I haven't seen it happen yet specifically with a guy like gruesomely breaking his leg or something, but these guys are going to get hurt, and they're also actually hurting the careers of the players that they're playing. People are going to think, oh, you know what? Well, they're getting playing time they wouldn't otherwise get. Well, you know what? The average length of an NFL career is 3 years. If you put those people out in a position where they're just going to get beat on for the entire season, 0-16 is essentially what we all think is probably going to happen, and they're just getting beat on all year, you're probably going to shorten their careers with injuries. These guys are going to really start getting hurt.
Well, to add to that, the Dolphins have scored a total of 16 points in 3 games. Okay. If you're a Dolphins fan, don't argue with me. It's a fact. Secondly, I can agree somewhat. Now, although I never would agree with tanking. Okay, I'm all good now. I'll never agree with tanking because obviously it's demoralizing. And as a player that went to Hudson High School, that my junior year, we did tank, okay? Thanks, Coach Lacasse, and I don't give up if you're watching this. We did tank. We went 1-9, okay? And if you were on that team with me, you were not happy, okay?
What the fuck's the point of tanking in high school? You don't get draft picks. What the fuck's the point?
Hey, man, my coach used to think that any coach out there, anybody that's a football enthusiast, which you probably are if you watch our show, on a play that's 3rd and 24, what is your first initial thing that you should do? Don't say it. You should pass the ball. You know what my coach would say? You know what? We're running a veer offense. They're not going to expect this. Let's run a dive up the middle.
I mean,
Well,
unless you're backed up into your own end zone, that's the only time that you should run the ball, so you just don't get a safety. But yeah,
it makes sense to do that in that scenario. Anywhere else, you're fucking retarded. Anyway, if you're the tanking shot, I really don't agree with. The Dolphins, I don't believe are gonna go 0-16. I think they're much better than that, personally.
Yeah, they'll probably beat the fucking Jets. Oh my god.
It'll just be a situation where obviously, first of all, let me rewind a little bit. I went too fast. First of all, don't call my team terrible. Your team is terrible, not mine. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if we have 0-3 or we're the same record.
You have the same record as the Dolphins.
It doesn't matter. Here's what's different about my team and your team and the Dolphins. The Steelers are not a losing culture. The Jets are. Okay? So when you guys are losing 0-3, people are expecting this. Nobody's expecting the Steelers to be 0-3 right now. Fair. But it's okay. It's okay. You know, I get it.
Cultures change over time. There was a point in time where the Patriots were fucking losers too. There really was.
For a little bit, they were.
I'm talking like in the 80s and stuff. They were a fucking joke.
Bro, we weren't even alive, bro.
I understand that. I understand that. But I'm just saying, and you're right. Now they're all about a winning culture. Same with the Steelers. But each team goes through a transition. I mean, this is way back, but the Jets weren't a losing culture in 1969 when they won the Super Bowl. Like, it just depends on the players and the coaches you have in place. With Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger and Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, no, they are not a losing culture. However,
this
now
man right here.
Who's not there? Le'Veon's not there.
This man just said 1969. Yeah, go to bed, bro. Yeah. Go to bed.
The date is irrelevant. Listen to what I'm saying. The date is irrelevant. You were a winning culture when you had Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, and all those guys, right? And Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's a great coach, winning culture. All of those guys are currently not on your football team. You're 0-3. Culture changes.
Wait, hold up. The last 2 games we choked. The first game, we got blown the fuck out by the Patriots. The last 2 games, we choked. All right. It's not so much. It's not that we're not a winning culture. Everybody, like Kansas City, it was 2 years ago. They started off 6-0, lost the next 4. Okay. Shit happens. You know what I mean? Obviously, I got hope in my team the same way you got hope in your team. The only difference is my team is better than your team.
I've almost lost hope in the Jets, and I do want to get into that right now. The goddamn Jets. Well,
tell us how you really feel.
Well, 98 yards of total offense over the weekend. That's how I feel. The defense has scored more touchdowns than the offense has. We're on our 3rd quarterback. One of our wide receivers basically broke his neck for the 2nd time and is out for the entire season. Le'Veon Bell's the only one doing anything, but nobody's blocking for him. I mean, the only offensive touchdown we have this season is a Le'Veon Bell touchdown, and it wasn't even one that he ran. It was one that he caught. Our defense and special teams have scored more points than our offense. I believe our defense has more offensive yards than our offense had last week. They had 98 yards in total offense last week. The Jets are a complete fucking dumpster fire right now. It is absolutely despicable for me to go watch the games. I watch every single game. Every morsel of my being, every fiber of my body did not want to turn on the game on Sunday because I knew the Patriots were going to fucking kill us. And I still turned it on, and I sat there like this the entire time.
Man, I know your pain, bro. I know the pain.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
This season, I know the pain. You know,
for 3 weeks, you feel the pain that I've felt for the last 18 years. The only time I've ever been excited, I get excited about Jets football every season, and I'm getting tired of it. I will always be a Jets fan, always, but I'm getting tired of it. The only years I ever had expectations were the years that we were actually good. When we went to the AFC Championship in 2010 and we were back in the playoffs in 2011, that was the last time the Jets were any good. That was the last time I was any excited about Jets football. This year we had expectations. We had Sam Darnold coming into his 2nd year. We just signed Le'Veon Bell. We signed another Pro Bowler in C.J. Mosley. We signed a great wide receiver in Jamison Crowder. And Jamison Crowder did look very, very good in the first game. And since then, we've had a combined 100 yards in offense in the last 2 weeks. So we haven't got to see much of him. I was excited about Quincy Enunwa, who is now, again, out for the season with another neck injury. I was excited for him to come back from the other previous injury that kept him out last year. And all of this was super exciting. Jamal Adams is a Pro Bowler that we have. Marcus May, another safety, was coming off healthy from injury, and people suspect that he could be a Pro Bowler one day too. I was once actually excited to watch Jets football and had expectations. Did I think Super Bowl? No, but I did think playoff team. And now we can't even score a fucking offensive touchdown, and it is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, how could I disagree? But no,
disagree with.
But first of all, I gotta say, as a Jets fan, first of all, it's just unfortunate, and I guess I can't talk that much right now. But it's unfortunate that every team you root for sucks ass,
except for the Yankees.
Except for the Yankees, okay. Every basketball, being a Knicks fan, it hasn't been hot in a while. But I'm a Bulls fan. It hasn't been hot for us either. We're low tier. We're tier 3 basketball team. Anyway, it's with the Jets. I would say I don't remember how many wins I projected them to have, but with a rough start like this, I have all faith in Le'Veon Bell personally. Obviously,
Sure, me too.
Him leaving my squad, going to yours. Yeah, it hurts a little bit, but he did it with class. Other than the other guy, we're not going to talk about.
Yeah,
until later.
That's the next topic.
So yeah. Anyway, with the Jets, man, I guess I really can't say I feel your pain now that I think about it, because last year and the year before that and the year before that and the year before that and the year before that, we went to the playoffs. So, I'm just chilling back here, but I hope the Steelers get their head out there as soon. And obviously losing Ben to a little bit of an injury, that fucking sucks, but.
Yeah. I do want to say this. I do know there's a decent amount of Jets fans that watch the show because obviously I know a lot of Jets fans. I do want to say this. We deserve so much better. We deserve to be excited to watch football on Sunday. When I watch other team's football game and I'm like blown away with the excitement that sport, the potential of excitement that sport has to bring, because I watch obviously other teams' games. And then I look at a Jets game and I just get depressed because nothing happens. Yeah. Nothing happens. There's nothing exciting about going down the field, punting. Next time you get the ball, one first down, then you punt again. There's nothing fucking exciting about that. You watch other games and the score is like 34-27. And you're like, man, that was fucking crazy. Defense might not have been great, but the offense was awesome. You watch a Jets game. You watch a Jets game and the score is 6-3. A fucking field goal battle. It's ridiculous. It's pathetic. As Jets fans, we deserve better. We do. We're loyal. We've had to sit through all this. The only thing we have to hang on our hat is exactly what we talked about earlier. 1969. Our quarterback that brought us to the Super Bowl in 1969 is almost in his fucking grave. It's sad. It's sad. Jets. This is how bad it is. I have no idea if I will see a Jets Super Bowl in my lifetime. That's ridiculous.
I wouldn't go that far.
That's how bad the culture is. I've been a Jets fan my whole life. I've seen them in the playoffs twice. It's bad. It's bad.
Now, although I think you are far, 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 far deep in your feelings, brother, I would say, yeah, you got time, man. You're 23 years old. I think you'll see a playoff win and potentially a Super Bowl. Honestly,
we'll see a playoff win, but Super Bowl, I'm not holding my fucking breath, okay?
All we need is for a couple of players, one player in particular, whose name rhymes with Ron Haiti, to retire, get out the league. That's Tom Brady for those solo folks out there.
Yeah, got me for a second. I was like, Ron, what the fuck?
So we get him out the equation. It almost balances the NFL, which is kind of weird to say. But anyway, what else you got from me, man? I'm tired of talking.
The last topic. I know we both had a long day and we both got to go to work tomorrow and it's late at night. Last topic of the day. We've had 7 episodes
Yeah.
And this guy has been a topic on, I believe, 6 of them, except for the all basketball episode that we did. And I
Yeah.
don't want to talk about anything else that we've already talked about because we're beating a dead horse. Honestly, I'm over it. But there are a couple things that came up that need to be brought up. So obviously, at this point in time, if you watch our show, you know football well enough to know that Antonio Brown was released by the Patriots. He's got all these allegations, we'll just call them allegations, coming up on a
Yep.
bunch of different things, and we won't dive into that. But on Sunday, he did tweet to announce, quote, "Will not be playing in the NFL anymore. These owners can cancel deals, do whatever they want at any time. We will see if the NFLPA hold them accountable. Sad they can just void guarantees anytime. Going on 40 million in 2 months. We'll see if they pay up." So he announces his retirement from the NFL.
Yes, he
And then
did.
he went on to I got to find it real quick. I don't want to mess this up. I don't even know if you know this. He went on a series of tweets that he since deleted. And in those tweets, he went at Ben Roethlisberger for alleged rape allegation.
I did see that.
He went at Shannon Sharp for his alleged rape allegation. And that's all good and fine, whatever. Here's the one that got...
No, it's not all good and fine.
No,
But
it's
go
not.
on.
But this is the one I really want to talk about. He tweeted and then obviously deleted. He said, and he's talking about the Patriots owner Robert Kraft in this one. And do you remember what happened to Robert Kraft this past offseason right after the Super Bowl? He got charged with going to a massage parlor that was not actually a massage parlor.
Yeah.
He tweeted and then deleted, "Kraft got caught in the parlor. AB speculations. Fired. Different strokes." Very clever. "For different folks, clearly."
Well, let me put my serious face on for this because I'm not going to be all smiles with this guy. First of all, all right, bro, that just fucked me up. First of all, Mr. Brown,
Different strokes.
I'm only going to address you as Mr. Brown because in this situation, you're not Antonio Brown to me. You are just Mr. Brown, you fucking clown. Ben Roethlisberger did not rape whoever you guys claim he did, okay? And that's not just coming from a Steelers fan. Don't make that fucking face at me. That's not just coming from a Steelers fan. Did he actually get in prison for that? No. Did that charge get acquitted? Yes, it did. So that must mean that there wasn't probable evidence for it to happen. Wow. Secondly, I like Shannon Sharp. I like him a lot, man. the guy, Mr.
We're just gonna move on.
We call J.R. Smith the Henny God, but Shannon Sharp is the real Henny God. He really is. The guy, you go into his office because I've been there plenty of times.
Oh, yeah.
He's got like 12 different bottles
You
of
call him
Hennessy.
Shan. You call him Shan. You guys are so close.
And I call him Mr. Sharp Hay. So you go in his office, you got a bunch of different Henny white, Henny black, all types of crazy stuff. Got the black and mild in his mouth like he's on the fucking stoop in a fucking project somewhere in Brooklyn. Anyway, Antonio Brown, him retiring from football, it's very hard to understand what the fuck's going on with him. He's been in a lot of fucking turmoil, as we all know. Who knows what's going on with his head, man? He also enrolled in college, so
I'm just gonna bring that up.
That's kind of what makes me believe that this is not a fucking joke anymore, that he's completely done.
Yeah.
A sad case. If he would have just been able to keep his head under the radar, he would have got another ring staying on the goddamn Patriots. Let's all be fucking honest with each other.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say anything else, man. He's just a fucking clown.
You ever heard of that book, A Series of Unfortunate Events? There's a lot of unfortunate events that he has created for himself.
Right.
that has completely destroyed his career. And I agree with you. I mean, I don't necessarily take it as the enrollment of classes as his career's done, but he's certainly not playing football this year. He's not looking to. He announced his retirement, whether that was real or not. I mean, Conor McGregor also announced his retirement from the UFC. People come back all the time. Hell, the head coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Bruce Arians, retired from the Cardinals, and then a year later is coaching for the Buccaneers. So I don't know if he's done forever, but I think, who knows, maybe we'll see him in the fucking XFL. I mean, who knows?
XFL, wow.
All right, man. That's all I've got. You got anything else?
I would say, yeah, I'd feel more comfortable seeing Brown in a fucking insane asylum. I mean, who the fuck wants to give up $40 million fucking dollars? Like,
Yeah. Well, he did it.
Who does that shit?
He doesn't
bro?
want
I
to.
don't
He
get
doesn't
it.
want to give it up. He thought that it was fully guaranteed. So if he did anything, no matter what he was going to get, and they found out, guess what? If you breach your contract and you break your contract, you don't get things that were promised to you because
Of
you
course
broke
don't.
what you promised them. So that's it. That is what it is. All right, everybody. This has been another episode. I can't remember what number it is. Normally I'm on top of it, but missing last week, I forgot. I think episode 7. Could be wrong.
Episode 8
of the Jackson and Shabazz show, everybody. Thanks so much for watching and listening. If you have this episode and if you have continued to, we really appreciate it. Follow us on Facebook at the Jackson Shabazz Show, Jackson and Shabazz Show. Follow us on Twitter at Jackson_Shabazz. And please subscribe and hit that bell on YouTube. We really appreciate it. Abdullah, sign us off.
Wait a minute. I have some things to say, young brother. So, first of all, if you guys enjoyed just me on the show, feel free to comment and say whatever you want to say because I know it was fantastic without Hunter. Like, share, subscribe. All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.